Acknowledge me.
Level by Marvin Constant, the redshirt freshman out of Tuscaloosa.
Oh, they go by now. Let him know he don't want to stop. 65 yards as the ball was brought away from the line of scrimmage. Gerald Dixon.
Hey, you forgot to see my book.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bama fans across the nation, it is game week and it's Tuesday night. Time to officially get game week started with your favorite show, the Bama Standard. Before we get started, you got a job to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're in the live chat, get rowdy. I probably don't have to tell you that. If you're watching the replay, I want you in the comment section below, showing us love there. Blow us up. Before we introduce this all-star panel, I have to let everyone know about our sponsors. If your business needs a digital presence, full-fledged marketing team, SEO, copyright, or any other business needs, these are the folks that you need to reach out to. Of course, after the show, visit them at workspacepros.com. Get set up, get coached up today. They will take care of you. As always, I am the host of the show, Justin Riley. With me, as always, is a living legend, the undefeated, undisputed king of comedy. He's everybody's cousin and star of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Brown.
Man, what's happening? I'm excited. It's game week, and I'm happy to be back. For those of y'all that don't know, I was out with COVID, but I kicked COVID's ass so I can be here. I'm excited. Just like Bama's ready to kick some ass. Let's go. Roll Tide.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just above him, a man that has done absolutely everything there is to do in the game of football. He's an all-SEC DB from the University of Alabama, B-Sci-Fi. He played for the Buffalo Bills. He was a scout for the Buffalo Bills and XFL. He's one of the top analysts in the game right now. And in between topics, he'll be changing out carburetors. Folks, is Smoke Dixon.
Smoke.
What's happening? Listen, the only thing I'm gonna say is don't bring me back on here, or don't even have Teague on here while I'm on here, because I like to be the best DB, and I'm not even close.
Oh man,
Who you talking about? You talking about this old guy right here? Him?
Man, listen, if a fight breaks out right now, Steve, I gotta jump on you for sci-fi if you can't do nothing. That's all.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then, as always, the man who brings a lot of the eyes to the show, and he keeps Paul Feinbaum employed. He's a senior analyst of Touchdown Alabama Magazine and the Bama Standard. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen M. Smith.
Game week right here, Saturday, under the lights of Brian Denning. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do something else. Folks, we've got an all-star panel. As you notice, Marvin Constant in his extra small shirt is not on the panel today. He has been deported to some exotic country, but that's okay. We have you covered. It's game week. We have to do it big. And the only one who can introduce our guest co-host is Stephen Smith. Stephen, tell the folks in the audience who we have on this panel tonight.
Well, who we got here to fill in for Marvin? We got a Hall of Famer in here. We got one of the baddest men to light you up and straight kill you on a football field. Terrell Owens is still dazed by what took place to him, stepping on that star, disrespecting that Dallas Cowboy star like that. But this is one of the greatest guys of the Gene Stallings era, 1992 SEC champion, national champion, one of the baddest safeties to ever play. You don't want to see his brother in a dark alley. Let me just tell you that. We got George Hitman Teague, baby.
Woo. Yeah,
man.
I like his son better. He's
pretty cool too, and I do appreciate that very much. You tight like that. You know what I'm saying? The way you introduce us, I appreciate it, but I'm gonna get mine in right now because your voice ain't ever that low any other point in time of the show. But anyway.
It's all right. So now we move over to one of the originators at wide receiver.
Ooh, yeah.
In the 2000s era. That boy from Florida, that hair hang low. Them boats are out there also. One of the baddest men to catch the football, run with the football, score with the football. This guy made everything special in that wide receiver room. Matter of fact, he walked so that Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, all them boys could run. DJ Dreadheaded Hall is in here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One of Bob Marley's kids. What's happening, DJ Marley?
Yeah,
I'm ready now.
He had dreads. I had a dread. I just had one.
Just had one. Was it a clip on?
It hung on like a clip-on tie.
I'll be real, DJ. How many more series do you think you have left in you?
As many as y'all let me.
Ooh, he says he's ready. Just put him in. He's going to score. He's going to score. Well, folks, it is.
Do is catch it, though.
It's called Nova AI.
You'll do that, man. No doubt. No doubt. All right, folks. Like I said, it is game week. We had to get to the meat of things. We got Western Kentucky coming up this Saturday. They're going to regret that life decision. But before we get to all that, we got to let you the news leading up to the game. And we have two gentlemen in this panel right now who are going to let you know about that for our first segment, the depth chart.
Stephen M., let's get to this depth chart. Let's get to this depth chart, my brother. And you have two DBs on here. I heard there's a couple of DBs that's been turning heads in the last couple of weeks. Let's tap in.
And they both have been freshmen. You got Jaeden Brown, Jaeden Mbakwe, my bad. So Jaeden Brown, Jaeden Mbakwe have both been turning heads. Both guys will get playing time. All the freshmen will get playing time, but those two in particular, Jaeden, the freshman from California, is going to be starting opposite Damani Jackson, the transfer from USC. Jaeden Mbakwe will get worked in there. Guys, a special talent from Clay Chalkville High School. And even watch Zay Mincy. He'll get some work out there as well. Red Morgan will get work out there as well. Kane Wommack high on all of these freshmen who've come in here and just done a fantastic job. It hasn't been hard on them. And that's because they've simplified the defense, allowing these guys to have fun. But these freshmen have looked great out here so far.
Well, with just the information that you've been collecting all this time, have you heard anything in terms of how many reps they'll be playing in the first game?
Okay, so when you look at Jaeden Brown, I think Zabe's going to get about 40, 50 reps. He's going to get the majority of those reps. He's the starter. He's going to get the majority of those. I think in Mbakwe, they got a package for him. He'll have a role. He'll probably look at 15 to 20. Zay Mincy, maybe 10 to 15 reps. They'll work him into a package. Red Morgan, I think it all depends on how much Devontae Smith goes, because you've got King Mack, the transfer from Penn State. He's also in that Husky role. So they'll get Red Morgan about 5 to 10 reps in there, as many as they can get him. But I think the most you're going to see is going to come from Jaeden Brown, because they really believe that young man's a star. So he's going to get the most of them. They'll work the other guys in.
Well, we touched on a couple of guys that's been doing well. Let's touch on the guys that are mending on the injury report in terms of who's expected to be back and who's expected to miss the play.
So right now, expected to be back, Jaden Roberts and Jam Miller. They both practiced this week. They're going to both play. Cool. Both guys were banged up throughout fall camp, with the second part of fall camp there. But Jaden Roberts, according to King on the board, he will practice this week. He will play. He'll be out there at right guard. There's no issue there. Jam Miller could have went in that second scrimmage. The coaching staff decided, hey, let's be smart here. Let's not put you out there. Let's get all the way back 100%, which they did that. He'll go this week as well. Jeremiah Alexander's the question, though, the former 5-star inside backer. He did not practice today. He could practice toward the latter part of this week, but Kang and DeBoer also mentioned don't be surprised if he doesn't practice the remainder of this week and may not go this game. Maybe back for game 2 against South Florida. Got a little bit nicked up there, the back half of fall camp, but you have a very deep inside linebacker room. So the only one that's kind of give you a slight concern, not too major, would be Jeremiah Alexander.
Now, the crazy thing about this is I think everybody got to understand and temper their expectation a little bit in terms of handling the football season. Unlike most seasons, this is the first year that we're now into the college football playoffs. And you don't necessarily have to win your conference to get in. You just need to be one of the 12 that get in.
Mhm.
So if young guys need to play early or older guys don't need to play until we start into the meat of the season when the games really count, where you're trying to win 9 or 10 games, I think that's when we start to understand that the reason why some guys aren't playing. Now, just to be an expert, there's been rumors about some coaches that's going to be in the box, on the field. Have you had any rumblings of our coordinators being on the field or in the box?
Okay, so here's the one smoking everybody that all the fans have been jumping up and down about. Who gonna be in that box and who gonna be on that field? Well, we got that on Monday. We got it for you. So only 2 guys will be in the box all season 2. Nick Sheridan, your offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, will be in the box. Colin Hitzler, your co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach, will be in the box. Everybody else is on that field. Kane Wommack, your DC, is on the field. Jamarcus Shepard, your wide receivers coach, is on the field. David Ballou, your strength guys, on the field. Everybody else is on the field with the exception of Sheridan and Hitzler.
Okay.
Now, with that said, we touched everybody on offense, on defense. Is there anyone on offense that's in the last couple of weeks? We've heard of Rico Scott has been turning some heads. Is there any other young freshman that we could be on the lookout for game 1, knowing that if this thing gets out of hand, they'll have an opportunity to play?
Caleb Odom. I mean, Coach Caleb and the board talked about it. Caleb Odom at 6'5", 230 pounds at receiver. I mean, this kid, you don't have to worry about him. You put him out there, this guy's catching everything. He turned heads all spring, been doing it right now throughout summer, throughout fall camp, through practice. That I've said this could be the first big body receiver. We're talking 6'4" and taller that can pan out since Julio Jones. We've seen some big bodies come through here, but whether it was injuries that they didn't materialize, whether it was just not understanding the plays that they didn't materialize or what have you, but Caleb Odom could be the first one of that physicality since Julio to actually really work out.
Wow.
Hey DJ, when I ran up on you the last time and saw you at that camp, I don't think Stephen M actually knows that you're closer to 6'4" than anybody else. But we'll just keep that for a little bit later when we touch on that. The DJ might have
whoa. I thought he was my height. I thought he was 5'7".
Man.
Hey, I get that all the time. They thought I was slower and shorter.
Nah, I'll say this. So the Nick Saban era then, DJ prior to Saban, DJ panned out. We know DJ panned out.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Stephen M, you're officially off the hot seat. The depth chart has officially been checked.
Man, I appreciate that. Whew, I can breathe now.
Man, greatly appreciate that, guys. Let's move into the next segment of our program where we will involve everyone. Before we can talk about Western Kentucky, before we can talk about players that we need to highlight from their side of things, we need to talk about setting the tone of each half in this game. This game isn't really about winning or losing. It's more so, what do we want to accomplish? And I believe that's going to be divided into two different perspectives. And it's great that it worked out that we have players on this panel who have served in both of those capacities. So first, what I'd like to do is throw it to Smoke and George. I'd like to get your perspective first as a player, game 1, new coach, what the expectation was and what your expectation for yourself was, and then transition to being the coach. Y'all been first-time coaches at different levels. What was the expectation? What were you trying to accomplish? And then we're going to give it to DJ for his way of doing things. I can't wait to hear that. But start us out, Smoke, and then we'll move to George. Then I'll transition down to DJ.
Well, I'll go back to my first game at Alabama. And it was against Vanderbilt. And I actually only played special teams because I knew that's how I had to get on the football field. Nerves are all over the place. But what Coach Cheese and Coach Johnson did before the game, leading up to that, they sat me down and told me exactly what the expectations of myself on defense was going to be for that game. It was going to be, just understand that if this gets out of hand, we'll try to get you 10 to 15 plays. Coach Dubose at that time was operating as a special teams coordinator. I was a gunner. I was on every special teams, and I knew that was the only way that I was going to play. That's old school, how young guys go on the football field and not being told that you're going to start and you're going to. So the expectation for me was already there. I knew exactly what I was going to do in order for me to get on the field. So I didn't come out of game one and only played a couple of reps on defense, pissed off at the world just because somebody told me that I was going to play and I didn't get in. Now, once I got into my role as a coach, I made sure that my young guys, my older guys, anyone that had expectations of playing, I sat them down after that last scrimmage and I rolled out my own depth chart. I told them 1-2 nickel, dime, guys that are backups. The only way that you're going to get in is if this thing gets out of hand, or if there's a young developmental guy that was there, I would happen to steal 5 to 10, maybe up to 20 reps for my young guys to get developed, but they earned the right to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just what, when you see this game on Saturday, you want to see how Coach DeBoer is handling, how he gets that group up to the level of high expectation, knowing that he has a new group, a younger group, some receivers that need to play, some running backs that need to play, some offensive linemen that need valuable reps, DBs that need valuable reps. The only way that guys get better, Justin, is through actual game reps. Practice only gets you good for practice. Game situation gets you ready for the game. So that's how I had handled it. And when I was a coach, that's how the expectation for me was.
Okay.
All right, let's pass it over to you, George. You had the transition from Curry to Stallings. For you as a player, what did you want to come away with game one under Stallings, and then transition to you being a coach? What your expectations were game one?
Yeah. Well, I guess my situation was a little bit different because at this point, I was moving into a starting position as a sophomore there. So my expectations of what I needed to do in that game was to really make sure I didn't falter, and I actually was who I was claiming to be, at that point. So it's really showing my value and my worth going into that first game because it was a hard transition for me going from one coach to another. We just wondered, should I have transferred? Should I have did something? Should I have did something else? And so I really needed to show that personally to Bill Oliver at the time, who was the defensive coordinator, that I wanted to make sure that he knew I was that guy. So that was important. It didn't matter who I played. I need to be flying around, right? So kind of selfish a little bit, I guess. But the second part was when I became a coach, and anytime I walk into a new program, so I've done this 5 times as a coach, I always wanted to make sure that our guys played the whole game. 5 quarters. I needed every little bit of piece to make sure I could show our families, our fans, and everything else who we were and what we're going to be. And I need to establish physical dominance right from the jump. Then, of course, we wanted to win the game. That's always a piece, but I need to create that identity as a new coach of what this is going to be. So, for DeBoer coming into this, he's got to set that identity. It doesn't matter. In Western Kentucky, he's got to set the identity of who we're going to be, because you say first impressions, that's the one you got to have, and it's got to happen. And that's what I always wanted to do as a coach, to set that impression for the remainder of the year.
Absolutely. DJ, my guy, the man who set records. When he stepped on the field, you knew a record was going to get broke. That just goes without saying. But let's talk about your first game of each season. What your expectations were. I know you wanted to shatter records, and I know you wanted to do your thing. And folks, remember this: DJ never dropped a pass, so keep that in your back pocket. But how did you prepare always for the first game? And then what did you want to accomplish when that coaching transition happened? And what did you want to see out of your coach?
For me, to be honest, man, I didn't want to embarrass my parents, man, because I came from like a household where like my mom and dad and brothers and uncles, they traveled to every game. Like they never missed a game. Like middle school, high school, little league, I knew they were coming. They drove to Arkansas, Tennessee, Texas, wherever we played, my parents were there. So like it's just always instilled in you. Like I used to tell people, like when I'm blocking them down the field, they used to be like, bro, why are you blocking so hard? I used to be like, bro, my mama not only see the touchdowns, but she see the missed blocks too. Like, dead serious. You know what I mean? So it was like a pride, man. And then like I come from like a smaller area, man. I kind of had like not a big chip, but like I was a 3-star athlete. I just naturally knew I just had to play harder than everybody, man. Like, and then the guys I came in with, like, and being around like Freddie Roach and D'Amico, Roman Harper, man, them guys naturally worked hard. Like, even it didn't matter what they did the night before. When they came to that next morning, they were going so hard that it was like inspiring. So that's just made me, made you want to go hard on the field. You just don't want to slack up. But that second part, the new coach, that's tough. I ain't gonna lie. That part's tough because a lot of people want to put it on like the players, but sometimes like if you don't have a coach that embraces you, because you know how it is. Well, back then it was, oh, we didn't recruit you, so you're not my guy. We don't really embrace you. But I just feel like these coaches should be more familiar with different players now because of this portal. Like, y'all get new players every year, so the that ain't my guy, I didn't recruit him standpoint, man, it should go out the door, because you do got these players nowadays, these prima donna players. If you don't embrace them and show them you care about them, they'll be gone. They'll leave. And, I won't say I get it, but I kind of get it. You want to feel like a part of the team, but some coaches don't do that, but it's different nowadays because of that portal. But those are the two big things for me.
Absolutely. Steve Brown, I'm going to let you close the segment. Before I do that, I'm going to toss it over to Stephen M. Smith. DJ just mentioned embracing the players, the relationship building of the players and the coaches. And you and I talked about this earlier today, and it's amazing how God works, because that actually ties into some news that you have for us. You've been around the coaches. You've heard the conversations. You've had conversations with the players. After hearing what these gentlemen have said to us, how does that line up with what you've heard so far? And give us a couple of pipe bombs that you let me know about earlier today.
I mean, it all the way lines up. And one in particular was today, Jaeden Milroe spoke today. Mm-hmm. And one of the first questions we asked, where I got a chance to ask Milroe, was, when you look at Nick Sheridan as your offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, how has he taken your confidence to another level as a quarterback? And Jaeden Milroe said, well, Nick Sheridan believes in me. He believes in me. He embraces me. He loves me. He trusts me. And because of that, it makes me want to push harder. Right. It makes me want to go harder. It makes me want to be at my best because I got a coach who has my back. And he's made football fun for me again. And that's the ticket right there. When Milroe said Nick Sheridan has made the game fun for me again, it took me back to Bill O'Brien said the man shouldn't even be playing quarterback. Right. And that hurt Milroe. And then you look at Tommy Rees, of whom did some good things, but didn't necessarily know how to consistently use Milroe. Mm-hmm. So now you bring in a Nick Sheridan, who not only knew what Milroe went through, because Nick Sheridan went through it himself. People forget, Nick Sheridan played quarterback in Michigan, 2006 to 2006 to 2010. He started with Lloyd Carr, and then Rich Rodriguez came in there. So Nick went through a transition and found a way through it. Now he's teaching Jalen how to do the exact same thing, and it's brought a lot of confidence to Milroe.
I like that.
Preaching over there, baby. What you doing, boy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Stephen, you said a lot, because DJ and I both went through transition with coaches. Right. I had Dubose first, and I had Fran. Right. Fran and I, we hated each other.
That's Fran Choney.
Yeah, Fran and I. When I said Fran and I went at it, it came close to a fist fight majority of the time.
So is that's the one that with the strippers? No, it was not.
That was Price. That was Price.
Yeah, I got him. I got them strippers.
It's easy. It's Steve. It's easy to remember Price. He paid the price. That's all you got to remember. He paid
No. He still owe me money.
But Stephen M., what you're saying, it resonates a lot with me. and also with DJ, because I remember watching DJ and listening to Brody when I used to call down there and talk to Brody. Like, man, these dudes are so talented. When the guy that was there before Coach Saban showed up, I'm not even gonna say his name. That guy that was there before Coach Saban, and when Coach Saban gets there, they're two different type of coaches. One coach is a player's coach. One coach, you better play for this guy to become one of his guys, and that's Coach Saban. And when you get caught up in those situations, you have to have a stabilizer there, someone that you can look at and say, hey, listen, even I know that he wasn't here when he recruited me, but that's my partner. I still want to play with him. Like us older guys saw it, DJ. It was like, dang, they're so talented, but they're getting boxed out. And it wasn't your fault for getting boxed out.
Yeah.
It's what you were taught before, and what you have to learn now was completely different. So I'm just glad that, and I want to say that for you because I respected you so much as a football player, but I get it. It's now understanding what Coach Kalen DeBoer is going through, and the easier you can make that transition with the really good players to love them and make them feel good and feel comfortable around you, you're going to get the best out of those young players because they know now you have truly invested in them.
You're right.
You're just not out there saying, I got 2 more years with this guy. I can't wait till he leaves. Or he's not running this right. You're like, dude, I didn't come here to play for you. And I used to tell that friend all the time, like, friend, you're putting your name on every T-shirt. I'm not wearing it. I came here to play for Bama. I saw Teague and all those other guys. Yeah, we Bama. We Sci Fi. We ain't Fantastic Day. Like, what's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? But as a young person, I didn't understand this is a part of the business. You have to now make that coach feel comfortable because he has a lot to say when it comes to draft time or when scouts come around. Don't kill yourself by opening your mouth.
Oh, wow.
DJ, I feel like you have a lot to say on this. I mean, I heard your amens from the pew there. Do you want to kind of piggyback off of what Smoke just said? Because I know Coach Shula had a great relationship with you, and it was very evident. You've told me stories from time and time again. And can you just kind of speak on that and what that meant, and then what it ultimately can translate to these new guys that we're about to see Saturday?
Yeah, it's just like the point he was saying, it's just the embracing part, like I was trying to get at earlier. But I'll just give you an example. And like I say, look, I hate to even sometimes put it out there because a lot of people take it the wrong way. But at the end of the day, I honestly don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can go back from years. This is the only platform I'll come on. I tell you that all the time. I get asked to do interviews at least twice a day. I don't do them. I come here where I feel comfortable. People don't really judge me. Me and Justin got a relationship. Me and Marvin, me and Steve, y'all embrace me. So I feel like I can say certain stuff and it not be taken the wrong way. But I love Nick Saban to death. I love what he's done for Alabama. I love him to death. But we went to his house once the whole year. We went to that lake once. We didn't have movie night. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have team function mandatory bowling night. We went once. So, I mean, y'all can take that for what you want. I'm just saying it's hard to believe somebody wants the best out of you off the field. Like, on the field, I get it. He's a winner. We all winner. Nobody wants to lose. Nobody wants to bust their ass to lose. Nobody wants to do that. So to sit here and think like, oh, they didn't buy in, that don't really make sense to me because nobody putting them pads on wanting to lose. We all want to win. But at the same time, you gotta embrace, like, I get it. You didn't recruit us. I get it. You recruited some of us when you were at LSU. And this ain't me bashing Nick. Like I said, me and Nick we've had conversations. Me and Terry had conversations. When I go back, it ain't no bad blood. We love each other. He's even apologized for certain stuff. Like, I get all that, but at the end of the day, people got to understand it takes more than just the player. Like, the coach literally has to play his part. Like, you know what I mean? And that's pretty much all I would say about that. And that ain't me bad-mouthing nobody. That's just the truth.
So pretty much what you're saying is Nick Saban was just pretty cut and dry just about the X's and O's as far as relationships or having great relationships not so much. He just wants you to come and play,
No,
execute,
exactly.
and that's it.
Clock in, clock out.
That's
In other words, like a Bill Belichick. Like, well, to me, they're the same. It's like I just come in and do your job, and that's it, nothing else.
And the other thing I will say about that is, like, to his defense, he treated player and coaches the same way. Like, it wasn't no thin line between player and coach. I've heard him tell plenty of coaches, "You call that shit again, you fired." Like, I've heard him say that.
Well, you know what?
Don't get that twisted. You know what I'm saying? But, like, I just feel like it should have been just like a little bit more love involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, just a little bit.
You know what? I want to say this, and honestly, I can understand that, because maybe he probably just didn't trust nobody. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is totally different. Has nothing to do with football. When I'm a headliner, right? That means the main act. I have guys that open up for me, and my thing is, do your job. That's it. I don't want to have anything to do with you. It's because sometimes you can develop relationships in our mind. Sometimes it gets you soft. I'll walk into a room, and it's not being rude. It's just who I am as an entertainer. I walk into a room with a bunch of young guys. Hey, I'm Steve Brown. Whatever you heard about me, believe it, and walk away. And it's just, I'm just keeping it right there. Y'all see what y'all see. Y'all understand what you see. Get to know me after the show. But when we're here, even though it's a funny business, it's my business, and I'm about business. Do your job, and that's it. I don't need you smoking in the green room. I don't need you drink. I don't need you doing nothing. Just do your job. Be funny by the time you set it up for me. Get out my face. After the show, we can go eat, we can go hang out, and that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And so I get that.
Well, Steve,
go ahead. Justin.
I got you on screen. I'm glad that kind of worked out the way it did, because you're going to be the one who kind of closes this first segment out. You've heard what these guys have said. You've heard what Stephen M said as far as his conversations with coaches. Do they line up with what your expectations are with the fans as a fan, or is there something else that you're kind of expecting or maybe wanting to see out the gate?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was saying that to close out this segment, I was, after hearing these guys here, they've presented a lot of great information. As a fan, we have expectations of fans. Sometimes it's realistic, sometimes it's unrealistic, more so the other part. But do your expectations as a fan line up with what you've heard from these gentlemen already? Or maybe is there something that we hadn't talked about yet that you feel like you need to see this first game?
Well, honestly, I really feel like every fan in that stadium and the fans on TV are going to be like this, taking notes, because honestly, they're expecting to see Bama crush the team, and if that doesn't happen, of course, you're going to see all the jeers, you're going to see all of the criticism, they're going to see all, and they're going to be nervous. But they are expecting to see Bama with all the hoopla and the new coach and the new blood and the new excitement. They are going to be there taking notes and ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And I think everybody's excited, and I'm expecting the same thing.
The crazy thing with a new coach and a new staff is this is the best they're going to be. For flat out that, because you've never lost or you've never won a game before. So the expectations are what they are. After Saturday, he's either going to be as good as Nick or fire this guy. And I'm probably one of the most tempered down Bama alums, because I understand that everything's a process. Like Nick didn't come in there and go 10-2 the first year. If this guy comes in and goes 9-3, 10-2, what a great success there in the playoffs.
Facts.
But when you change a coach, there's a lot of things, and Teague, you know this well because you've played under new coaches, you've been a new coach. It takes time for you to gel. 22 practices, 15 spring practices, and different scrimmages aren't the same as game simulations, aren't the same as in-game adjustments. It's not the same as Jalen Milroe just had 5 bad plays, not in a row, but he's had 5 bad plays in practice. You can take him to the side and go talk to him. The bullets are flying now. So it's going to be a different conversation. Yes, you felt great and felt happy with me when the score wasn't being kept, but now the score is being kept on Saturday. So my expectation and understanding is this is brand new for everybody. Give him the same grace that we gave Nick and everybody else in order to prove himself, and they have time.
But smoke. Yeah. Let's just be realistic. Listen at who you're talking about. You're talking about Bama fans. What you're saying about being real, giving them grace, that's out the window. Our fan base is the most unrealistic fan base in the world. If we don't win by 100 points, they are going to be mad. That's just what it is. That's just, and it's sad, it's crazy, but those are our fans.
No doubt. No doubt. All right. So we have some of the best to ever do it on this panel. So I want to ask, of course, you, Steve, you'll have your chance at the end of this segment to kind of weigh in. But I want to know what you guys are expecting out of your former position group. And ultimately, who do you want to see strike first from that group? Let's start with George first. You've heard a lot of the things going on in the offseason. You've heard all offseason, this is a young secondary. We're nervous. We're scared. But you also have heard some great things that this young group is coming together very quickly. They seem to have it. They're maturing. Some of them already had that NFL mentality. But weigh in, and then I'll go to Smoke, and then I'll go to DJ, because I got a very important question to ask about this part for him. But George, weigh in real quick. What do you want to see from this group? And who do you want to see strike first?
Well, and you just said that you're talking about these young guys and all the talent they have. And I've prayed, you know who one of my favorite guys is, right? Xavier Brown. I've been talking about him for the longest, but that's not who needs to strike first, in my opinion. When you do have a young group and something like that, this is when you need the veteran to step up. This is when you need another number 13 to get it going and smack somebody in the mouth. We're talking about this identity. I'm seeing him laying out stuff. I'm watching him hit these wide receivers. He needs to set the tempo earlier and be that leader. Like, this is how we're going to play back here in the secondary. We're going to be fast. We're going to cover the ball. Now we can look at the passes, get some interceptions and all that. But we're going to hit some people. So if you want to come around here, you know, let's get some tackles. Let's do some stuff like that. So I need Malachi Moore to be that tempo setter. He's going to have a lot of opportunity in the box. You know, he's going to cover some passes and all that kind of stuff. But I think he can set the identity that you need to have on your defense from the secondary. It doesn't have to be a defensive lineman or a linebacker all the time. Marvin Costet, I know I'm sitting in your chair or whatever. It don't have to be the linebacker. It can be down in the doggone in the box that can do that. But he has that leadership. He's gone through a lot of stuff too. He's fought through injury. He's had other things. He's been in tough games. There's no scenario that he hasn't been in that he can't set the tempo on why he can't set the tempo on the field, or on the bench, in the locker room, be that voice. So I hope that he steps up and be the vocal leader for us too out there on the field. That's my dude, man. 1-3.
Yes, sir.
Like
yes,
him.
sir.
I like it.
Smoke.
You know what?
Along the same line.
You know, you know what? I was thinking on the same line, but Teague is always 10 steps ahead of me and 5 hours smarter than I am. But I like what you're saying with that. But I'm gonna go with a young guy because I think that this season is so long. You're going to need the young players to come along too. True. And what you just said, I've been the veteran guy, and I've also been the young freshman that had Marcus Spencer, Tony Dixon, Reggie Miles, and those guys pull me along and show me the way. Jalen Mbakwe. I don't believe you're going to be able to play with 3 or 4 DBs anymore in college football. You're going to need 5 to 6. I'm talking about just strictly corners that can play. Because the amount of reps that you're going to take during the year, those young guys coming in October, early November, one of them veterans might be hurt. And that's going to need to step up and play. You might play a team a la Tennessee that's going in 10 personnel. That majority of the time you might need to go dime. So 13, bring in a young guy with you. Understand that you don't have to say you have to be a veteran or you're a freshman, you can't get in the room. Those freshmen at some point become sophomores at the end of the season. And Teague, like you know it, young guys have a ton to say, but they just can't say it. So show it with your play. Jalen and Bakwe step up and play in special teams and on defense, because I know that your dynamic is a return as well too.
I love it. Love it.
No doubt. DJ, I've been waiting all day to hear this response, brother. What do you want to see from your position group? Now, I'll throw a little caveat there. We hadn't seen a 1,000-yard wide receiver in 2 years. Something unheard of. You didn't know about that in your day because you were that dude getting it. So I know that coming into the season is probably weighing on your mind because that's you as a competitor, and you want wide receiver you represented. So what do you want to see game one from these guys, and who do you need to see strike first from that group?
I'll be honest. I won't be upset this year if we don't have, just one standout. But it is two guys that I feel like been around long enough. I want to see them on the field so bad, and that's Kendrick Law and Kobe Prentice. I just don't know why they cannot get on the field. Like, I feel like Prentice blazing speed. Law, come on, man. He got the hands. I got so much expectation for them too. I just want to know why they don't play. And hopefully I can find out this year.
I think now we got an offensive coordinator who knows how to use them. If ever there was an offense designed for those two guys,
right,
it's this one right here.
Yeah.
So you're going to be very excited. K-Law is going to be like Debo Samuel. I'm going to throw that
That's what I'm saying
right now.
We just got to remember that Coach Billy O'Brien also said that the guy that finished top 10 in the Heisman Trophy race last year shouldn't be playing quarterback.
Right.
So just remember what you get, what was there, and no knock on him, but understand what was there and what's going on now.
Absolutely. Stephen, you didn't play at the collegiate level, but you were still special, and you're an All-American in your own way. But I want to know is what position group are you looking at right now for this game, and what do you need to see ultimately from those guys? And then we'll go to Steve Brown. I got a good question for him.
Okay, the position group I'm looking at in this game is the offensive line. And I want to see the physicality of this group up front. What has Coach Chris Kapovich been teaching from spring to summer through fall camp to that first game? And the number one guy I'm looking at, Parker Brailsford. You came over as a transfer from Washington. You helped Washington win the Joe Moore Award. You come to Alabama, you add on weight. You're now 298 pounds, snapping the football consistently, but also blocking consistently. But I want to look at Caden Proctor. How have you improved in your pass pro, in your run blocking? Can you sustain at the point of attack? Can you keep your feet moving? Can you also establish and reestablish your anchor should you get knocked off a little bit? But I want to look at right tackle between Wilkin Formby and Elijah Pritchett. Which one of you two can snatch that spot and say, this right tackle position is mine, and the running back, you come behind me, you follow me, I'm going to carry you to the end zone. So the offensive line is going to be my spot. Can these five guys work as one, starting with the communication of Parker Brailsford, and then your two offensive tackles, Proctor, and then Pritchett/Formby? Can those two outside men do their job?
Love it. Steve Brown.
Okay.
Man, the perfect closer. What position group are you going to choose, and what do you want your main takeaway to be from game one from that group?
Punter, go on, say it.
You know what? A position group that nobody's really been talking about, the D-line. I think I really want to see what the D-line is going to be about. Of course, in this defense, you kind of sets up with the D-line. The D-line has to be really dominant. I want to see that. And of course, just hearing about what Jalen Miro said today, I'm excited about, his growth and his development. And I think that he's going to do some really huge things, especially since he's having fun now. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, my main focus is the D-line.
I love it. I love it. Before we move down to Western Kentucky, we all need to know what we're up against this weekend. I want to remind everyone we are just 4 days away from the start of Alabama football, and the only way to truly celebrate that is to get you a title towel. Go to whitwellsports.com today and get your very own title towel for Bryant Denny This Saturday, we need 100,000+ going strong with that towel waving in the air like it just don't care. Enter in the promo codes STANDARD, get a nice little discount courtesy of your family here at the Bama Standard Network. Again, visit whitwillsports.com today. Great stuff, guys. Great information. I'm ready now. Let's move to our opponent. We need to know who we're playing. I'll kind of start things out with Western Kentucky. Of course, TJ Finley has been the name's been thrown out first and foremost, but there's a little bit more to Western Kentucky than TJ Finley. On the defensive side of the ball, as far as protecting against the pass, they're one of the best in the nation. Well, not best, but they're top 50. They do all right. But what Bama fans need to know, what kind of plays in our advantage is protecting against the run is where they struggle. They're amongst the nation's worst this past season. They were ranked 109 in rushing yards per average, and they were also ranked number 123 in rushing yards per game. And I think that really plays into something we're trying to do in this game. One, establish that dominant offensive line. Set that tone early up front with those big dudes. Second, we're trying to still figure out who's going to play right tackle. Is it Wickham Forby? Is it Elijah Pritchett? It allows us more time to get more meaningful reps out of those guys. And they have a real opportunity, one of those guys, to really step forward. But the third part where I really am excited to see is our running backs just have an absolute field day. And it's not just going to be Justice. It's not just going to be Jam. It's also going to be Richard Young. These guys have an opportunity to each have a top 10 Sports Center moment. I'm looking at that advantage, and I'm really excited. We move over to the offense side of the ball. Let's start out with things. Guys, we got a B-Sci-Fi connection on that sideline calling plays for Western Kentucky. Former two-time All-SEC and Alabama offensive lineman Will Friend is the offensive coordinator for Western Kentucky. Shout out to him. We're family every other day, but Saturday, we got some business to do. But protecting against the pass, they do all right. But just like on the defensive side of the ball, the run is where they have a problem. The running game, virtually non-existent. I think they got running backs. Who knows, really? They tried to address that in the offseason and transfer portal. Were they able to do it? Time will tell. But again, it plays into our strengths. We have been needing to see that defensive line be dominant. Great opportunity for guys like Jaheim Otis, Jamarian Latham, Tim Keenan III to really tee off. So those are the things I feel like you need to know. I'm going to pass that around the room. I'm going to go down to Smoke first. What have you learned about our opponent? Then we'll move to Stephen M. We talked about TJ. I'm curious to know if he's improved since touring the country, literally, of colleges. But stars out, Smoke, and then we'll go to Stephen, and then we'll weigh in from the rest of you folks. George, I know you've been looking at the scouting report.
So when you look at Western Kentucky, you're right on a lot of the statistics that you tossed out, but they're a team that like to throw the ball around last year because they had a pretty good receiver. But when you're in the games like this and it's the first one off in week one and you're playing a lesser opponent, and I know that you never want to look at your opponent and saying that they shouldn't be in the same field with you because they are. Alabama needs to go out and execute their game plan. And that's A, getting back to running the football and controlling the clock. If we didn't learn anything from week 0, we saw a team come back down from double figures, and we saw Georgia Tech take Florida State all the way and beat them with a field goal. So anything that can happen will happen, especially in week 1. That's where most of your upsets happen. So you're going to see Western Kentucky come in, and they're going to have a game plan to make Bama do what we all believe that Bama is going to struggle with, and that's covering receivers. When you talk about fronts and pass rushing, you got to get the ball out of your hand quick. So Western Kentucky's going to try to get on the perimeter, get the ball in the hands of their playmakers on the outside in order to make those DBs that we've all had questions about make plays in space. But this is where Alabama can help that secondary out. By now putting Western Kentucky back in the position that they don't want to be in, 3rd and 7+. And Teague, you know that's money down for us. We getting off the field because they're going to get heated up, and we have enough guys to cover their guys. And one of the hardest things to do for quarterbacks It's throw the ball for 8 yards against pressure and better talent and guys that's going to cover you up man to man. On offense, when you look at it, we are bigger, more athletic, and we can control the line of scrimmage. And we also have opportunities to get the ball in our playmakers' hands because Milroe is better than everybody else on that field. So now what you need to do and what we have to understand that West Kentucky wants you to do is play the game of having turnovers and miscues, going 3 and outs, balls being dropped, starting drive, what I call is drive killers by unforced penalties. That's the only way that West Kentucky can truly have an opportunity to stay in the same game with Bama. But looking at it, I think Vegas got it right. Bama do what they're supposed to do. I think we roll.
I love it. Stephen M. Smith, the man of the hour from the deacon's chair, giving honor to God.
Y'all tripping, man. But
let's talk about TJ Finley, man. He didn't really fare too well at LSU or at Auburn. He may not have had the proper coaching to guide him or really help him to grow and mature. He went to Texas State. He was able to elevate his game. Threw for over 3,700 yards, if I'm right with the math there. So my question, you've taken the time to learn more about him. Has he changed much? Last time we saw him, he was a statue. If you put pressure on him, he was gone. I know he's 6'5". He's a big dude, but he can't escape all that pressure. Has he improved? What do we need to know about TJ Finley this time around?
He's still not much of a physically imposing runner. I mean, yes, he'll fall forward. He'll get you 2, 3, 4 yards, but he's not one of those cats that have you go, man, he can really move. And so I look at this is a huge game. And I know people like to say, well, what about LT Overton, Jamarian Latham, your defensive ends? This is a big game for defensive ends, for your Bandit and for your Wolf. But this is an even bigger game for your defensive tackles. Tim Keenan, Jaheim Otis, Tim Smith, Damon Payne, James Smith, those 5 names, this is a big game for them. They get to collapse the pocket from the inside. So where TJ Finley can't step up, he has to go out. And once he goes out, there's the speed of Overton. There's the speed of Latham. There's the speed of Keon Keeley. There's the speed of Justin Jefferson. There's the speed of all those other defensive players coming to track him down because the guys on the interior have crashed that pocket. They have suffocated that pocket. He can't step up. And even if you can't get the sack, what made guys like Deron Payne, Sean Robinson, Jared Reed so good? Get your hand in the air, knock the ball down. Completely take away his throwing vision. Completely take away the passing lane. That affects him also. So I look at those interior defensive tackles. This is a big game for him.
I love that. I love that. George, I know you've had some time to kind of scout the competition. What automatically jumps off the page for you, and what do you really need to see? If it's TJ Finley we're concerned about, how do you want the defense to respond? Kind of give us your overall take on these Hilltoppers.
Well, first I'm going to start with they not like us. That's for sure. But Dixon hit on a lot of the points, and I have been able to watch the film and kind of analyze this and see what they're looking like. So there are some things that we can take advantage of, as he said. From the offensive side of the ball, they leave some gaps sometimes. I think if Milroe is really tuned in to how they like to play from their pressure standpoint and trying to confuse the quarterback with movement on the snap and things of that nature, that they're going to try to make him force you into a bad throw or something of that nature. So what I did see is they're like a drop 8 team. But they might have 6 or 7 up on the line of scrimmage. Then they run people out of there and see if you're going to, just hit them in the chest with the ball. But they might also rush all of those guys. So if you're supposed to check out of it, so they like to play these mind games to see if the quarterback can get it right. So that's going to be very interesting to do. But they just leave too many holes and too many gaps. If Jam Miller or somebody, Justin Haynes or whatever, if they get through, it could be a long shot. But it could be the same thing for Jalen Milroe too. They drop those people out of there, and if he holds the ball and doesn't make a bad decision, he can take off and go run for 20 or 30. So it'll be interesting. So that's from Western Kentucky's defensive side. Their offensive side, you hit it. Their run is kind of stale. They do like to play, with two backs. I think that's going to have us with too many people in the box, and it's going to be hard for them to run against us. Their offensive line is solid. I like their left tackle. I think he's fast and he's good. He can move laterally to try to get cutoff blocks, and if you're too slow, if you're getting up the field, he can create get you in bad leverage. Just don't know if he's strong enough. Both of those guys on the left side, 78 and 70. What is it? I'm forgetting their numbers. But their left guard and their left tackle are pretty good there. So I just think we're going to have to play solid. If they'll try some man beaters and things if we're trying to lock up where they're trying to run people around. But TJ Finley hasn't done so great from what I can see. I don't know how much he's actually improved, but the running game is going to be hard to get going against us. That's what I think.
So in your scouting report, by chance, did you find out what a hilltopper is?
Nah.
No.
So Teague, let's talk a little bit of ball for a second, because you said some interesting things that I believe that we'll see the development of Jalen Milroe when they do throw those exotic looks in there, and see how far he's come along as a quarterback in terms of processing the information. And a lot of times when you went back and you watched the Michigan game, that's what he struggled with.
That's right.
So if I'm the Hilltoppers, and when William Vallejos was over there, he was on the defensive side, and we always used to talk ball with what they tried to do and tried to create the double A gap pressures and show you double A gap mugs, get out of there, run some quarter half, or they run some type of hot coverage where it's a deep third, 5 under 3 deep concept, or even drop 8. So when you see the drop 8 concept, that's when 3 defensive linemen are running. You have 8 other guys in particular areas in terms of their zone. So I really want to see, can Jalen Milroe play the game from the pocket, use his eyes to manipulate the coverage, and understand how to sit guys down with throws. Because you and I both know, if we're in zone and they're running man beaters, old school, they're going to get blown up. If that quarterback don't sit you down, it's going to be a problem. So you're still the maturation of Jalen Milroe, game 1, of how far he's come along in terms of understanding what's pressure, what's not pressure. Because going back to coaching and understanding quarterback play, the first guy that we read, I know he played safety, coming out as the quarterback. I'm looking at you. If you're on that hash and that linebacker is coming downhill, I know that ain't no blitz. You're faking me out. But if you guys are on a string and you guys are moving together, now you guys are really in tune. Heads up, perks up, something's up in terms of what we went through in terms of our game plan. So you'll see some high-level processing before the snap happens. And if you see that as you see that as a fan for Bama, and seeing that Jalen Milroe can manipulate and understand zone, man, have ball placement in terms of sitting down his receivers when he does have the opportunity to take big shots and manipulate the defensive coverage, then you should be excited. But if he struggles against this, we got some work to do.
Yeah, he hit that on the he hit that on the head. I know you got some more comments, but that is so true on when I was watching it. That's the only thing I could think of was, what is Milroe's thought process going to be? Is he going to be able to make the right decisions with these plays? Because they move their line around, man. They're showing 3-4 front. They show 3-3 stack front, and they're slanting everywhere. And then they got these secondary guys running all over the place. So it's going to be super interesting. And then Dixon definitely understands this, and I'm going to show it on film tomorrow. On the Teague's take, the drop 8 is what I like to call 3 double kick, right? So both corners are sitting in the flat, and they still got 3 deep.
3 cloud.
Throw it out.
Yep.
So it's going back to what he just said. He's got to find the zone, the right zone, and just can't panic and, throw to anywhere on the field. So it's going to be really, really interesting.
And I really don't want to see him run. Don't want to see him run.
Yes.
Like, to me, and Teague, you know it. You played against some mobile quarterbacks, and everyone's going to say, oh, he can get out the pocket and create. Yeah, getting out the pocket and creating and running of the football are two different things. There's a difference with Aaron Rodgers manipulating the pocket and extending plays to a difference of Lamar Jackson putting his foot in the ground and running. Lamar's when he escapes to run.
That's right.
Right? Because there's a difference between escaping and scrambling. Quarterbacks that don't understand the pocket, that have a good pocket feel, they scramble like eggs. Nobody knows how it's going to turn out. This is going to be there, you're going to eat it.
Fortunately, I think it's going to happen because if they do that 3-man rush and they got all those guys back there, I'm with you. I'm in 100% agreeing. I just think there's going to be some times where
there's times
it's just going to be so open. He's like, man, I can get 10 yards right quick
and get out and get out. But I really want to see the DJ Hall would be pissed off if every time you tuck the ball, you daggone ran it. Like if you tuck it, understand that I'm going to work with you now.
George Teague gonna be pissed off too.
Let's hear from DJ. Let's let DJ finish this segment up. So DJ, I want to hear your thoughts on this defense. You hear how it works. How are you helping out your quarterback? How are you manipulating that defense? They got a stud DB back there, Anthony Johnson Jr. But if he's going against DJ Hall, he's just going to be on a poster. But how are you manipulating them? But also, too, before those receivers take the field, tell me the message that you give to them.
Honestly, bro, I'm gonna be real with you. I used to get asked this question all the time. People used to always say, "Man, who was the hardest hitting team y'all played against?" And I would say Western Kentucky. Period. Point blank. Wow. Don't sleep on them. Them country boys. I don't know where they from now, but back then, a lot of them was actually from Kentucky. And listen, they was hitting hard. I'm talking about hard. That's back when you was allowed to get hit without even catching the ball, though. So they ain't got to really deal with that no more. But that's a big point of it, man. Do not overlook them. That's what I would really say. Don't, because I come from the Louisiana Monroe. I know what it feels like. Trust me. And it can happen. You think it can't happen? It can happen. So my thing is you got to treat every team like you hate them. Just beat the shit out of all of them. Excuse my language, but you got to just beat the shit out of all of them. Because you got to, right now with this new year, you got to understand people waiting to turn on us. They just need a reason. And we got to get them out the way. We got to get them out the way.
Man, wow. That's a great way to close that out. Well, folks,
we got to clip that. We got to clip that.
I'm sorry.
Steve, what you got, brother?
Yeah, the term hilltopper refers to students in Western Kentucky who are known as hilltoppers because the school is located on the hill of Bowling Green, Kentucky. So they're just people living on a hill. That's it, pretty much.
That's it.
Nothing just people
fancy.
living on the hill. Yeah. Nothing fancy. Nothing.
Not a place Steve Brown would do a show or hang out, right?
No. Just on the hill, just for no reason. No.
All right, folks, we're getting towards the end of the show. So what we got to do, we got to give you our scores, our predictions, players of the game. But before we do that, another announcement. If you've been living under a rock, listen, you get a chance to see the Bama Standard live next Friday night, right before the USF game, 6 p.m. Central, over there at the Bryant Museum. Come see us. It's going to be a great time. We got special guests. Jake Coger's going to be in the building. Landon Collins going to be in the building. Blake Sims and us. That's really all you need, to be honest with you. So pack it out. We had great numbers last year. This double that. This triple that. This start taking cover charges because Steve Brown deserves it. But yes, the Paul W. Bryant Museum next Friday night, September the 6th, 6 p.m. Be a part of the greatest podcast there is. All right, folks, let's wind it down. Let's go around the room. I know it's not a major opponent. It's more of what do we learn from ourselves this week? But let's still have some fun. Let's give a score. Give me your predictions, and then give me your player of the game. We're going to start with George Teague, and then we'll go up to DJ Hall, Steve Brown, Stephen M. Smith, and Smoke will close it out. What y'all got?
I think what we learned this week is that Kevin DeBoer is the mastermind of this offense, and he's going to do some really good things to put Jalen Milroe in a position to score a lot of points at the right times against this team. So I am picking Alabama to win. I am predicting that we score 49 points on this first game, and we do allow, because maybe we have a couple breakdowns, we're still learning some stuff in the secondary, 17 points. So I'm going 49-17 Alabama for the victory.
Give me a player of the game, sir.
Jalen Milroe, over 200 yards passing and 100 yards rushing.
Okay, I like that. DJ.
Honestly, I'm gonna go because I already kind of got a little wager in already. You know what I mean?
Another Marvin.
Another Marvin.
We got DJ.
I'm gonna go like 52-17. That's
Okay.
what I said. Milroe MVP. Because I won't be biased and say I don't. I expect a blowout. I mean, I know it's gonna maybe be a blowout, but they will score.
Okay. Fair enough. I like that. Who's your play? Well, your player is Jalen. Got to respect that.
I like Milroe for the MVP.
Okay. Steve Brown, the star of the show. This is the only opinion that matters here.
I have Bama 42-7, and I have two MVPs. I would say Milroe on the offensive side, and my guy Malachi Moore on the defensive side. That's what
Boom.
Ooh. That's my guy.
Stephen M. Smith.
I'm going to go 45-10 on the offensive side. MVP, I got Kendrick Law. I think Kane Law is going to have a big day. 2 touchdowns. I think he's going to have a big day. Defensive side, MVP, Deontay Lawson. Agent Zero shows you why he wears number 0. Going to be a big day for D-Law.
Okay.
I'm going to go 45-7. Jalen Milroe, 300 plus yards, 4 touchdowns in the air.
Okay. I love it. Me, offensive side of the ball, I'm going to go with Justice Haynes. I think this is a guy that's been waiting to be uncaged since last year. He was not used the way he should have been. For whatever reason, he was taken out of the Rose Bowl while he was on fire. He's going to have 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Then on the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to go with a depth guy. I want to see somebody step up that's going to provide us with that depth. Stephen M. Smith has been talking about Jeremiah Beaman all during fall camp and during the scrimmages. So I'm going to go with him, a little unorthodox. I'm going to go with him as my defensive player of the game. Alabama 52, Western Kentucky Hilltoppers on top of that hill 17. So that's what I got. Okay. All right. Before we close out, I want to.
That's what I got.
Yes, sir. I want to remind everybody the fun doesn't stop after the Bama Standard goes off the air. The final whistle will be on at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern tonight, right here on this channel. You want to see what they're going to bring to the table. Live analysis, different takes on things, some spins that you want to see coming. Tune in for that. Then tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Central, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we got Crimson Dynasty, Cece Payne, Dan James, and Hannah Stevens. We'll actually have a former Western Kentucky player there tomorrow night. So come and let them know what you think about them. And the greatest show, perhaps, of the entire week, goes without saying. Teague's Take tomorrow, 8:15 p.m. Central, 9:15 p.m. Eastern. And immediately following the game, the Bama Standard post-game show for your immediate reactions. Be a part of that. Fill up that live chat. And then on Sunday night, immediate reaction the day after, Sunday night Talking Bama with Justin J.B. Baines and J.T. Tucker. You want to be a part of all that. We got you covered all week long. And the opening kick, Friday night, opening kick, that's one of our newer shows. Smoke's on that. We had a lot of fun this past Monday night. A lot of fans didn't want to hear some truth. So that's what we bring. If that's your thing, tune in. But let's go around the room. Let's let folks know how we can find you. Start out with Smoke, then we'll go to Steve Brown, Stephen M. Smith, George, And I think, DJ, you using social media yet? Or you still kind of on hiatus?
No, man. You know I'm off the grid, baby.
He's been running. He's been running.
All right, Smoke.
Hey, you know what? Usually I take a second to promote shows and all that, but I met DJ Hall once, and that's when we did a camp down in North Alabama. And what year did you get there, DJ? 2000 what? 2004. So I was just removed a couple of years. And AC was one of the guys that brought you on in terms of playing.
Right.
The receiving core that you just had, what you had with Brown, Pothro, and yourself, truly dynamic. And I don't think Bama fans or even alums really give you guys enough credit for how good you guys were and how talented you guys were at that time.
We were.
The only thing that I'm pissed off is that I did not get an opportunity to be a big brother to you guys, to help you guys come along and understand how to truly be, like Teague and I both know, sci-fi. You guys got caught up in between Shula and Saban, and we weren't allowed to come back on campus. So from the big brothers here, I apologize that we didn't reach out to you guys to get you guys back to where you to the standard of being a sci-fi member.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna take my hat off and throw the flowers to you. I said it last week, and I'm gonna say it again. You are top 5 best receivers in Bama history. If they don't want to say it, I'll say it to you.
I appreciate that, and I'm gonna piggyback off that, man. One thing about it, and I tell Justin this all the time, and that the kids nowadays don't understand is, we knew y'all, we knew the Teagues, we knew the Smokes, we knew the Marvin, we literally knew y'all. But these kids nowadays, if you ain't played from 2015 and up, they don't have a clue who you are, bro. But I respect what y'all brought to the table. And I got Bama Sci-Fi tatted on me, bro. So that's letting you know how real I am about it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Oh Lord. Steve, save it for your OnlyFans, sir.
Yeah, put that side meat down, man.
I was going to show y'all my daddy name. That's all.
Steve, what you got coming up, man? And how can they find you?
I'll be at the Dania Beach Improv in Dania Beach, Florida, right next to Fort Lauderdale, man. This weekend. Can't wait, man. It's gonna be great, man. You guys, if you want to look me up on social media, Instagram, Comic Steve Brown, one word. And of course, my fan page, Comedian Steve Brown fan page on Facebook. And of course, you can see me here on the Bama Standard, running thing.
Absolutely, that's right. Deacon Smith, how can they find you? What you got coming up?
No, man. Well, no. So tomorrow, Steve, come on now, chill.
No, I'll just give you some background music. I'm sorry.
That's it. Come on in the room.
Lord have mercy, y'all two right here. Now tomorrow, I will be on campus tomorrow, getting the assistant coaches. It'll be the last media day before the season. So I'll be on campus getting the assistant coaches tomorrow. So that'll be good. You can find me right here Tuesday on the Bama Standard. You can also find me Sunday on Talking Bama. My God, Steve, you are killing me right now.
Okay, go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
You can also find all the articles touchdownalabama.com. But tomorrow I'll be on campus giving the assistant coaches for the final media day.
Okay.
All right, can I put the Bible down there?
He's gonna pass out the plate.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass out the plate.
I am not taking the love offering. I'm not taking one.
Yeah, the pastor's anniversary.
Well, y'all check this out, man. Y'all can catch me at Teague Football, IG and Twitter. We'd love for y'all to come on over to Teague's Tech. Check us out here too. We do multi-stream with this channel. Bama Standard's a friend of ours, so it's pretty awesome to be able to interact with all of y'all each and every week anyway. But tomorrow night on Teague's Tech, I'd say we're going to be breaking down this Western Kentucky film. We're going to show the film. So if you're interested in checking out what they do on offense and defense, I kind of gave you a precursor, but now I can actually show it to you, and I can show you where it is and how we think they're going to cause some problems for us in certain areas, but how we can exploit them as well. So that's Teague's Take Podcast on YouTube, at Teague Football on IG and Twitter.
Hey, your son gonna be, y'all, hold on. Your son gonna be there?
He is gonna be there.
Yeah. Y'all going on over there. Y'all going over there. He know what he's talking about. He know what he's talking about.
And also, JT's random thoughts. You gotta check it out. JT's thoughts.
He always gonna have one. He always gonna have one.
That's the star of the show. That's the star. Y'all
Absolutely.
make sure y'all go.
Well, DJ, I know you don't have social media, but what I will do is take this time to share this thought from a fan. Wingate World Unlimited. It's about time DJ truly got his flowers after years of getting trashed by fake Bama fans online. But us real fans that was there, we knew what it was.
Yes, sir. 100.
Absolutely.
That is, man.
Folks,
man, a big round of applause.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Me too, man.
You shed a tear. Did I say you? Are you shedding a tear over there, DJ?
Hey.
That's my dude, man. Teague, y'all did it for us. You, Shade, and all those guys. Every spring, when them dudes used to come back, we knew what Bama pride was all about. Like, if it wasn't for them, like every spring, I knew when they came around, I know what I had to do in every spring game in order to go get what I needed to get, and them dudes to take care of me. But they've been my big brother, and it sucked that we weren't allowed to come back and be a big brother to y'all.
Yeah.
Hey,
I appreciate you,
hey, man, listen, man. Listen, meet us in Dallas, me and T. We're gonna take you to the American Legion.
Man.
Oh, you ain't old enough to get in yet. Don't worry about it. You ain't old enough to get in.
Man, George, DJ, we can't thank you enough for being a part of this group tonight. Your family, you're always welcome. So be expecting to get the phone call or the text throughout the season. You'll see a lot of us.
Sir.
We love you, and we'll always be there for you.
Roll
Fans,
Tide.
thank you so much for being a part tonight. Week 1. Thank you for doing your thing. Continue to be with us. We will see you next Tuesday night right here on this channel, but also we'll see you at the Bryant Museum next Friday at 6 p.m. Central. Until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide.